Well, hello YouTube. Well, as I'm being an armchair general and not really a military person, as I'm a nurse, so that kind of negates that. But I have taken considerable interest in the war in Ukraine, and I wanted to talk about how to defeat Vladimir Putin. Um, now, basically, let's talk about how would you negate him using nuclear weapons? Um, yeah, I don't know that you can, to be honest. I don't think he has any other cards to play. I think he's played all his cards that he's ever going to play. So I would dare say that that is a foregone conclusion that he will use nuclear weapons, and I don't see any way around that. So rather than like I don't know, pretend like it's not going to happen. Like uh, I don't know that anyone is actually going to do, but uh, or sort of like beat around the bush and try to not call him on his bluff. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a bluff at this point. He's just that's his only card. Um, I would personally move in THAAD missile systems and Patriot missile systems into Ukraine. Uh, Possibly some Aegis warships. I think that would at least make it a little less desirable for him to do that. Of course, that would push him a bit closer to using them, but with those systems being rushed into the battlefield should uh, offer a little bit of protection for the Ukrainian people from such an attack. And look, the best thing you can do at this point is one of the key elements of winning many battles, and we've seen that historically. That was like from World War Two onwards, that rapid mobilization, well, not mobilization, because that's just a term for how many people on the field, but rapid, um, rapid attack seems to be what really gets you mostly your wins. So personally, I would move 4 aircraft carriers into the Black Sea. I would send in submarines to obliterate his fleet. Um, uh, I would then launch from possibly Germany or um, I'm trying to think of any close NATO countries that could possibly really mobilize a huge air force. And I would probably put in, uh, I think Sweden has a reasonably decent air force, and I think Germany has, and I think France does. And I think they're the closest serious powers in the area. Not, I don't know if Sweden is a serious power, but I do know they've got a reasonable air force. I think they have around 250 jets. So with that, with Germany, I don't know how many Germany has, and I don't know how many France has, but Russia's estimated to have about 1,000 aircraft, and let's say half of them are capable of flying, and half of them, uh, again, will probably be fighters. Maybe okay. Well, let's be a bit more fair. Let's say 40% of them are fighters. So that would give you an estimation of around 500. It would be roughly about 220 fighters. So if we swarm the skies with like constant patrols from fighter planes, and we could easily outmatch them there easily. And that's their biggest threat at the moment is the fighter jets, um, because they're the fastest moving targets. So yeah, So that would be your biggest threats. And if you can't put fighters in the air, you can't put bombers in the air. So his ability to attack the ground from the air would be completely negated. Um, his ability to launch nuclear weapons would be severely hampered. Um, and he would have no fleet um, if the Allied forces sent in their submarines and just obliterated his fleet. So that would be basically cutting him off from 3 points, and then uh, the next point would be to sort of say, hey, you're taking all this land, now it's our turn. First, I would move um, position, arm the Ukrainian forces to take Crimea and push him completely out of Ukraine, set up a defensive line that would be not possible for him to basically threaten anymore. And by that stage, once you've sort of pounded the shit out of his forces to the point where he's got nothing left to fight with, he'll have to concede defeat. And then he'll get assassinated by his own people because he failed them. And that's how Russians are. They're just so hard that when their leader makes bold claims and tries to do stupid things, they go, bye. And that would be the end of that. I suppose it could potentially put a more hardline psychopathic person in charge of Russia, but at that point, Russia would only be probably like a power that would be like, I don't know, like top 20. It wouldn't have the power to actually actively go in and assault, like invade other countries. It just wouldn't have that kind of force projection. It just wouldn't be there. So, yeah, and I do believe that speed is the way to negate a nuclear strike. If you can cripple his conventional forces enough, using a nuclear weapon would only be like I'm going to swear, it'll be a bitch move, really, because it's basically saying, I couldn't win and I can't get what I want, so therefore, take that. That's what it'll be like, guaranteed. So, yeah, it'll be a total like spiteful, vindictive bitch move. That's all it'll be. It won't gain him anything other than pissing off the rest of the world. I don't know that in a case like that, once you've crushed his conventional forces, if he did use a nuclear weapon and was successful in, completing a strike on a major population, that the rest of the world is just going to immediately nuke him back. They will definitely assassinate him. They'll send in drones, special forces, every assassin. They'll probably hire professional assassins to just go and hunt him and just destroy him. Like they will do. They'll probably seek the Mexican cartel people. Those, what do you call them? Sicaros. Those kind of people. They'll probably be like, right, his head is worth, $100 million. Kill him. That's whoever wants the contract, all open. Take it. That's what it will be. So that's if he decides to use a nuclear weapon. That's probably what will happen. That's what I predict will happen, because it's the only logical thing to happen. If you've crushed his conventional forces, you've pushed him out of Ukraine, you've pushed him out of Crimea, possibly pushed him out of Georgia as well, basically taking away all those land grabs that he did years ago between, I think, the year 2000 and 22. I don't know when. I can't remember when he got into power and when all this happened, and why we always just stood on the fence and was like, yeah, we're not going to do anything about Georgia, or we're not going to do anything about Crimea. I don't know why, but yeah. Yeah. So that's how I see that going down, and that's how I see an easy defeat for. Well, it won't be easy. There'll be a lot of blood. A lot of people die. There's no question about that. The only way you could sort of negate that is, yeah. And like I've said in a previous video, if you want to get rid of your soldiers without killing them, offer them double money, what he's paying for them to defect. Easiest solution. So there's a lot of options on the table, and I do hope that the West starts taking some of those options, because the longer this war draws out, the more it's going to hurt the world economy, and the more it's going to take sacrifice lives unnecessarily. So why are we wasting our time? In a fight, at least when I was taught karate, you wanted to end a fight as quickly as possible. Like when you see those movie fights where they're drawn out for like minutes and minutes and minutes, every second that goes by is a time the other person can beat you. So the faster you knock them down or stop them or get them to give up is the less chance you got of getting hurt. So in this case, it's the same type of rule applies. Cat. Hello, cat. All right. No worries. Peace out. Bye.